What is up, everybody? It is Icekold, and you have made it to another episode of Am I Right? I'm doing things a little bit different this time. Got my man Charlie G with me. What's up, Charlie G?
What's going on, Icekold? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm good. Something that's been going on in our group chat for a few days now. I don't know how we even got on it. I can't even remember. And I think you might have started this, honestly. I think you might have started it with the whole Eminem thing, and then it just spawned into something else. But someone said in there, basically we were talking about the top 5 MCs of all time. Actually, no. We were actually talking about the top 5 hip hop artists of all time. That's really what we were talking about. And someone mentioned Jada Kiss is in their top 5, which took me aback a little bit, but then other people start saying it and putting in DMX and things like that. Now, this is not a thing where I'm going to talk about my top 5, but what I do want to address is what kind of body of work does Jada Kiss have to be in the top 5 hip hop artists of all time? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are exactly this, and it's kind of piggybacking off what you said. Right. Jada Kiss doesn't have a body of work, not an album that I can consider a classic.
Right.
That's just me. But
no, it's not just you.
I feel like lyrically, he probably could have had that potential, but he was not able to put that catalog together the correct way.
Right.
Like, I just don't think he's like comparable to like an Ice Cube, who I have in mind.
Okay. You know, you can make a case for Ice Cube because Ice Cube has had classic albums.
Right.
He's put together a body of work, like we keep talking about. He's put together a body of work that you can put him into the upper echelon of hip hop artists.
Right.
Now, here's the thing, and it was also said in this whole back and forth, Biggie does not belong. Biggie Smalls does not belong in the top 5. Now, this is my view on it. I don't see how you can say Jada Kiss, who has not really had any classic albums. I mean, he's had some hot songs. He's had some hot lines, and I honestly think he's a dope artist. Right. I do. He is not upper echelon. He has not done anything close to a classic. The thing with Biggie, yes, you can make a case that Biggie Smalls doesn't have a large body of work, but the work he does have
is classic.
It's classic.
It definitely is.
Ready to Die, and Life After Death are 2 classic albums, and you can also say Ty mentioned that before. That was a double CD.
Yes.
So you can also
it's
say
actually 3.
So you can actually say he has 3 classics. Because we can say that because when you sell a double CD, that back in the day
counts as 2.
Counted as 2. Not everybody is out here making classics.
No.
So if I'm 2 for 2, because I'm not gonna count that last the album that was put out like a year after he died or a couple years after he died, whenever it was. I'm not gonna count that.
That's the one where Eminem debuted, actually.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count that. I mean, you can count it, and to be honest, that album was probably better than anything, or just as good as anything Jada Kiss ever put out.
It is.
He was dead. But classic albums come few and far between. And most likely when someone comes out with a classic album, their second album doesn't have that same hunger. It doesn't have that same energy. But you can make a case that Biggie kind of relaxed on the style after his first album. But that second album, Life After Death, is still a classic.
He opened up so many doors with that album. He really leaned on his samples in that particular album, and I thought it worked very well for people that be well, people that really criticize sampling. Well, you know how in that day they were really criticizing sampling because of where they got the music from. But staying on topic, I definitely believe that Biggie, that Life After Death CD was I cannot forget that CD. It's just so many classic songs, like All About the Benjamins. There's so many songs that you just cannot forget. You can go anywhere and play most of those songs and people are going to be rocking the crowd.
I got a story to tell. What was it? Like you said, just a lot of dope singles on that album. But let's take it let's take it to the first album. The first album, same thing.
Ready to Die with
Ready to Die. We're talking about two albums that reflect what hip hop is.
Yeah.
You talking about two albums that everybody had to have. You talking about two albums that shaped hip hop.
It helped
for a lot of people.
It definitely helped.
So if you got these two albums that shaped hip hop, and maybe you might not have that long catalog,
right?
But you're gonna have to show me where Jada Kiss has done the same thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To take Biggie Smalls out.
He hasn't. A lot of people, this is a little off topic, but kind of it mirrors what we're talking about now. Right. A lot of people try to put Andre 3000 in that category too. And while I feel like he has some fire verses and some fire bars, he does not have a body of work where you can be like, oh, he's top 5 by himself. He's got Outkast albums, and those are dope. Those are, I think Outkast probably top 2-3 rap groups ever.
My favorite album, just on that subject, and we'll get back on what we were talking about. My favorite album of all time is Aquemini. Of all time.
I knew I liked you.
Aquemini is one of the best pieces of work I've ever heard.
If you haven't heard,
just a great album. But to get back on subject, like I need to hear people tell me what Jada Kiss has done to be called one of the 5 greatest of all time. And how can you take Biggie out? How is Biggie not in there but Jada Kiss is in there?
Yeah, it's actually a contradiction if you really get to looking at how you say that. You can say Biggie or Jada Kiss is in the top 10 but not Biggie. That's contradictory because Biggie, we just talked about, has these 2 classic like must-have albums.
Right.
And to me, Jada Kiss, his first album was his best album, but it's not. I like Jada Kiss. I'm a fan, so I wanted that.
I am a fan.
I wanted that.
He
CD.
is not whack.
No,
he's a dope artist.
Definitely, but I don't think that his first album garnered that attention to where people was like, "Oh, I gotta rush out and go get this," or "This is something that is the pinnacle or right in the foundation of hip hop." It's just
what was his biggest record? His
Off
biggest record
album?
was Why.
I think it was
not
Why.
album, but Why. But
yeah, Why
not
was
album,
his
but
biggest.
song. It was Why.
I would say Knock Yourself Out.
You can make a case.
Second.
Okay, you can make a case that Styles P and Jada Kiss is kind of neck and neck when it comes to body of work. I mean, because to be honest, Styles P put out a hotter record, and Styles P put out a hotter single with I Get High.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's weird to me. I'm thinking a lot of people don't know the difference between like greatest of all time, or maybe even hottest MC of all time, which are 2 different things.
It is, because
when you're talking about the greatest of all time, you gotta factor in several different attributes, several different things to come up with your top 5 albums. Singles, hotlines, quote. I mean, you got to come up with different things to come up with a top 5. I think people are getting dope MC mixed with or confused with greatest of all time, or maybe even a favorite. A lot of people, maybe people thinking, well, this is my favorite. No, that's 2 different things. Like, put it like this. 2 of my favorite artists is Ghostface Killah and Sean Price.
Okay.
Those are two of my favorite artists. They ain't nowhere near the greatest MCs of all time. No. They not even greatest of all time.
No,
they're nowhere near it, but they're my favorite. I'm not gonna put them just because they're not my favorite. I mean, just because they're my favorite, I'm not gonna put them in the greatest hip hop acts of all time. I can't do it.
I feel that statement wholeheartedly, because a lot of people get on me about my takes on stuff like that, and really they don't understand that Jay-Z is my favorite.
Okay.
And he is probably a better case for the GOAT than a lot of people. Just on longevity.
Yes. Correct.
Putting together music and also writing for other people. A lot of people don't know he wrote Still Dre. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that. He wrote both parts for Snoop and Dre.
Yep. Snoop. I even actually heard Snoop. Snoop actually was talking about that, and he said he wrote that shit, and he wrote that shit on the airplane. He came in the studio with it already written.
Yep. And they said he was saying, both parts like Snoop and Dre. Mm-hmm. But I just think I love Jada Kiss, man, and I think like he has one of the most versatile lingos in rap. And I would probably say he's one of my favorites also. And I think you hit a point with that. A lot of people do try to edge their favorite into an objective top 5. And I try to be objective when I do stuff like that. Like, I feel like Jay-Z, like I said, has a case for the GOAT, but I don't think he is the GOAT.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you. In my top 5. Now, here's another thing before I even get to my top 5.
Okay.
Because I said I wasn't going, it ain't about that, but I will talk about my top 5.
You should.
But before I even say that, because you mentioned Snoop. Well, one of us mentioned Snoop. Mm-hmm. You can make a case that Snoop should be in the top 5 acts of all time because of longevity and body of work. Doggy Style, classic album. What he did with both Chronics.
Oh yeah,
classic. Those were classic. It wasn't his album, but he was a huge
blue carpet treatment
part of it.
Blue carpet treatment.
Right. Now he's not in my top 5, but you can make a case for it.
He's not in mine either, but
he is not if you put Jada Kiss right here and Snoop right here, and you had them go at it.
It's Snoop.
Yes, it's Snoop, but like lyrically, if like they both
now if you
start
talking
spitting bars, I'm thinking Jada Kiss getting them. That don't mean that he's a better he's a better fit to be in the all time hip hop acts of all time. It's almost asinine to even say that.
Well, I feel like it has to have a certain level of versatility too. Mm-hmm. Like you see like a Biggie, for instance, he wasn't afraid to do like, okay, we'll take Player Hater. A lot of people
I love that song.
That song is so great. And
I love that song.
He is singing on that song. Mm-hmm. He's singing. And he had to step outside of himself and find that lane, And sometimes you give more points for people that step outside their lane and do things like that and succeed.
Right.
You have to give them their credit for that. And it's the same way I feel about Tupac too. Like Tupac definitely changed the game.
Yes.
And he has a definite case for the GOAT.
Yes. And he has classic albums.
Definitely.
He has classic albums. So
definitely.
So I said I was gonna say my top 10. And it may differ from yours. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna fault anybody for saying, oh well, he shouldn't be in there. Just make a case, at least make a case why they shouldn't be in there and why somebody else should be in there. Don't say Jada Kiss, who ain't never had no classics.
Right.
But Eminem, and I know you probably gonna disagree with that, but he's had classic albums.
Nah, Eminem
not recently, but he has had classic albums. Expect the first two, you could say, with classic albums.
Definitely.
It's funny with Eminem, my favorite album is his third album.
The Eminem Show?
Yeah, my favorite album is his third album. But
that was a dope album. He opened a lot of eyes with that, with this song called White America. If you haven't heard it, please check it out.
White America, yeah, definitely.
It wakes the whole album up.
Right. Nas
is definitely
is in my top 5. Now, here's another thing. His best album is Illmatic.
Yeah.
My favorite album It Was Written. You see what I'm getting at here. You see what I'm getting at here. Just because something is my favorite does not necessarily. It's like I can recognize
greatness,
a great album, but still have a favorite album. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Objectivity.
I got Pac. Again,
Yes.
Pac has had classics.
Yes.
Pac has had classics. All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World. He's had even before that, Tupacalypse Now. Like, he's had classic albums. Who else I got in my top 5? Jay-Z. We already mentioned Jay-Z. I ain't got to go further. And Biggie. Biggie. 2 classic albums. Everybody I just named has had one or more.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Everybody I named has had at least 2 classic albums. At least
Definitely.
2.
Definitely.
Where is Jada Kiss's classic album?
I'll throw some controversy in there, and a lot of people would be mad, I guess, that I would say it because they don't consider him a rapper. But Drake has a case to me for top 5, and I'm not a big Drake fan, not by far, but I can recognize what he can do.
Album sales, yes. Like, that dude is Mr. Billboard.
I'm not saying he's got like the greatest flow.
Nah, I can't put him in my top 5, but he can be in the top maybe 20.
Oh no, I was saying
if you just taking every attribute from somean, yes. I mean, you could put
he's not my top 5, but I could see people making a case for it. You know, my top 5 is I would probably, and not in any order or anything.
Right.
I would probably go Eminem, Royce the 5'9". A lot of people would probably say he doesn't have a classic. I would dare you to go listen to Book of Ryan. I would go listen to Book of Ryan.
Okay.
Book of Ryan was a classic album. Like, it was super dope. A lot of people are on the Allegory, the newest album, and I thought it was dope, but I don't think it was better than Book of Ryan. That's me. I would say definitely Tupac. His emotion, the way he could make you feel his music. I don't think there's another artist that has done that. Like, he makes you feel that music every time. Brenda's Got a Baby is a song that you felt. Even if you were never in that situation, you felt it.
Right.
Icekold, definitely. He wrote the first Eazy-E album. A lot of people don't know that either. You know. Jay-Z. Definitely Jay-Z. And my honorable mention is probably Nas, because
Okay, I can respect the list.
Right.
I can respect it. It's different than mine.
Right.
I'm not gonna say you wrong, because
I don't even have a point of contention for your list, honestly.
Right.
Because I like all those artists.
So I don't know, man. I think
you're right on that one, though.
Right. I think a lot of people get their favorite artists, or maybe they get confused when you say the best of all time.
Right.
With the best MC of all time. We're not talking about that. That's a whole different category.
Definitely.
But man, that's all I got, man. Thanks for chopping it up with me for about 20 minutes, Charlie G.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me, man. I definitely appreciate it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. All right, man. We out. Am I right? Check us out.
Have a good one, y'all.
Yes, sir.